Tomato production has the potential for commercialization by smallholder farmers and other chain actors across the gender divide. There has been an upsurge in tomato production trends over the years, which can be attributed to increased volumes and better farm gate prices in the main producing counties, which include Kirinyaga, Kajiado, Taita Taveta, Laikipia, Bungoma, and Trans Nzoia, among others. The increase in production may be attributed to enhanced irrigation in open field cultivation, expansion in greenhouse production, and the spread of production in new frontiers. However, it is not a venture for the faint-hearted. This lucrative farming venture is marred by numerous challenges, among them high cost of inputs such as certified seeds, fertilizer and pesticides, the lack of proper information on the best agronomic practices, and a poor marketing channel controlled by unscrupulous middlemen does not help things much. To better understand what it entails to succeed in this high-stakes venture, KTN Farmers TV had the privilege of visiting Christine Opio at her tomato farm in Kajiado County.
Ages of the farm, you see the crop, some. Yeah.
Her story is one of passion, tears, misinformation, mistrust, dedication, and at times losing hope and bouncing back to become one of the best managed farms in the area. 36 years ago, at the age of 11 years, Christine Opio, then a standard 6 pupil in Western Kenya, was given a plot of land measuring 20 meters by 30 meters by her parents to grow whatever she desired.
I looked just behind my mother's house. There was, that piece of land that was idle there, and it was looking nice. And I decided to just, dig it up. And then I took a tomato my mom came with from the market, removed the seeds, did a nursery, and planted. And that was way back in 1986. That's a long time. I don't know if you were born then.
I was born.
There was no chemical application. We didn't know anything about that then. And it was just a local variety from the local market. And that tomato did very well. Of course, first users were the family members, but it was too much for the family to consume. And I was able to sell and make about 400 Kenya shillings. That was a lot of money then.
Fast forward to today, the passion of a young girl kept growing strong, evident of this well-maintained tomato crop on her 40-acre farm at the banks of the Ewasonyiro River.
I started with leasing 10 acres, and that was sometimes last year. And out of the 10 acres, I did 5. Yeah, and of course, I was learning the ropes, being in a new environment, having to engage different types of people from the normal ones that I'm used to. And it was a learning point. I learned a lot of things along the way. Of course, I did not make much profit. The biggest lesson I learned, and which I realized is it covers for 50% of whether you succeed or not, is the reliability of the water. Because when I got the farm, there was a shallow well I was given with the farm. And the first week, 2 weeks, the water was enough. And then all of a sudden, we had an issue with water. So we would desilt it, pump water, and it was still not enough. So that actually led to a big percentage of why the first crop did not work out.
She says tomato farming is quite capital intensive. Following the advice of friends and other farmers in the area, she spent hundreds of thousands in cost of inputs such as fertilizer and pesticides, way above what is expected. She, however, learned how to avoid this. It is best to hire the services of an agronomist to better manage your crop, thus reducing costs.
All Kenyans know we do DAP, we do CAN. Yeah, and maybe if you do a third top dressing, you do triple 17. From those who come from maize growing areas, that is what we know about fertilizer. So here I am, I start doing my tomatoes, and the first fertilizer application is DAP, followed by CAN or urea, I realized that the plant does not need everything you give it. You need to give it what it needs.
From then henceforth, Christine decided never to gamble her money over unprofessional advice.
I would be told, we need this, and I buy. And I realized I was spending loads of money on chemicals. And sometimes I come to the farm and I've not seen the effect of the money I've used. Yeah. Then now I said, okay, now I need to get someone who understands the composition of what I'm applying, so that I know what to apply when, so that I don't just go around throwing money when maybe the crop doesn't need it, or applying the wrong things, and then end up now just choking the plant and not getting anything out of it.
Dunstan Wekesa, an agronomist working for Agribora in Kajiado East constituency, says tomato farming requires adequate source of water, good knowledge in nutrition, the know-how on pest and diseases management, and capital.
To achieve the required yield, you have to start with a good seed, certified seed. And for this investor's case, we are doing hybrid. If you do hybrid, the returns are good. If you do OPVs, those are the open pollinated varieties. The returns are slightly lower than the hybrid. Then number 2, feeding now. You can have a good seed, but you don't feed it. So nutrition, you have to check. If a tomato is well fed, it will have minimal attacks, diseases, deficiency diseases, and the rest.
As Wekesa explains, plant nutrition is key and is divided into 2 categories, that is basal and foliar application.
At planting, the plant needs to develop roots. So you have to put in high phosphorus, which is responsible for root development. Then after 14 to 21 days, now the plant has developed roots. It's now time to vegetate, put on more vegetation. So you have to increase, now you apply CAN, nitrogen-based fertilizers. You can apply CAN, you can apply nitrabo. It also depends with the nature of the soil. Yeah, you have to do a soil test so that you see your soil, how much your soil has, the components. And then from there, when your plant has vegetated well, now the flower sets in. When the flower sets in, they will start producing fruits. Now you need to increase your potassium, that is K. That's when now you apply Unique 17 or you apply Yarawina. It has high K.
The same goes for crop protection, as Wekesa further explains.
The seedlings are very prone to fungal attacks, mainly the dumping off. The common farmers call it kiuno because the nyanya bends. So you have to do prophylactic sprays. You have to use a fungicide, both preventive and curative. That's why you need an elite agronomist who understands that. Yeah, because when the disease sets in, you have to cure it. And you also have to prevent. Kukiwa na baridi, when the temperatures are very low, the incidence of diseases are very high. But now, the insects, it's now inversely proportional. They go down. Yeah, but the diseases go up. When the temperatures are very high now, the disease attacks will be very minimal. But now, the pests, the insects incidence will be very high. So you have to know which chemicals to use.
Most farmers do not stake their tomato crop even though it comes with various advantages. A farmer can continue harvesting tomatoes for 75 to 90 days, making between 1.2 and 1.5 million shillings depending on the market. Another key advantage of staking, Wekesa says, it minimizes fungal infestation, especially when doing furrow irrigation. To farmers who don't stake their tomatoes on the other side will pump between 150 to 200,000 shillings investment on 1 acre, but will only harvest for between 30 and 45 days.
For farmers who want to do smart farming, we encourage them to do staking. Why? Like now you see we are doing furrow irrigation. If that fruit comes in contact with the soil, fungal diseases are easy to set in. But when you have done staking, you minimize the disease infestation. The returns on investment on staking, you will have to recover. Why? You will have longer periods of harvesting. You can go up to 3.5 months instead of just 2 months. So you see, if you have good production, it will cover the cost.
Marketing has always been a thorn in the flesh of most tomato farmers like Christine. There are numerous challenges, including glut and a cartel-driven market governed by unscrupulous brokers. Christine has had a taste of this and has resulted in investing in transporting her produce and selling it herself in different markets across the country. And this is where Calvin Okello, the CEO of M Shamba, comes in.
We source for a variety of markets, for both locally within the area and far away from the area. So that means that when there is glut, glut usually are within a particular ecological area or within a particular region, so you can be able to push. So we do this by diversifying on the customer base that we have, and we have different types of customer base. We have those at the open air markets, we have processors, we have chain stores. Yeah, so depending on the quality, if the quality is good, the farmer will always get the best out of the produce. We also advise them, giving them periodical price information, but we also are computing based on the historical price data. So we are able even to predict when there is going to be glut.
In making sure that she has a constant supply of tomatoes throughout the year, Christine plants her tomatoes in stages of between 3 and 4 weeks apart. Due to delays from seedling suppliers, Christine decided to do her own seedlings.
If someone wants to reach me, or you are interested in starting a conversation about this crop or the produce you want to be supplied, you can reach me on 0720 175 198. Yes.
Unlike way back in 1986 when Christine sold 4 tomatoes for 1 shilling, she is now selling a kilo for 50 shillings at the farm gate. She is optimistic that through seeking professional help, she will be able to withstand the risks and challenges of this lucrative farming venture. For KTN Farmers TV, I'm Paul Tiongo.